Stan, next up we have a little bit of an interesting paper that you found about just exactly what it takes for a user to be convinced to install something on their machine. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, apparently it doesn't take a lot. The University of Pennsylvania State University, Carnegie Mellon, and NIST collaborated to create a paper on just that topic. And the way they approach the problem is they use Mechanical Turk, which is a platform from Amazon to allow people who want to, have a small menial task that they want to farm out to a lot of people and get a response, to go ahead and allow that transaction to happen. So with the use of Mechanical Turk, they hired a couple thousand people, or gave them the opportunity to be part of the survey without them knowing that this was a research project. They told them that they would pay them anywhere from 1 cent to $1, and all they would have to do is download this piece of malware. Oh, well, sorry.
They didn't say malware.
They didn't say malware. They had to download this piece of software, double click on it, and let it run for 60 minutes. At the completion of that time, they would get a code and they would get paid the sum of money that they were requested. And then for extra 50 cents, they could fill out a survey. So they found some interesting numbers out of that. First of all, the participation rate varied depending on how much they offered for the task. So they did this over 5 weeks, and every week they offered a different amount of money. The first week, 1 cent, then 5 cents, then 10 cents, then 50 cents, and then $1. And some interesting patterns emerged. So for 1 cent, there were very few people who actually even got a chance to view that advertisement on Mechanical Turk. Because I guess most people wouldn't be interested in getting paid 1 cent to do something for a whole hour. But they still got maybe 100-something participants for that. And of all the people who viewed that advertisement, about 22% of the people actually downloaded the malware and let it run. There were some people that downloaded the malware but didn't run it once they downloaded, but some people downloaded it and then ran it. Then when they got to $1, it was, first of all, a lot more people viewed the ad to participate in this, but then also they got a better number of people to actually try to participate. And I think 44% of people for $1 would download an unknown piece of software and double click on it. They had no idea that it was a research project. There may have been some sort of a kind of like a ULA looking consent form in the beginning when you click next on the program. They didn't show a screenshot of that, but I believe that basically it's very interesting findings. They also recorded how many people had some sort of antivirus or protection running on their PC. They were also trying to determine how many people have VMware installed or running things through a virtual machine. So they found only 17 people were running this through some sort of virtual machine, like Parallels, I think, in OS X, or I guess VMware or Zen or something like that in the other platforms. But only 17 people were doing that. And this was encouraging, actually. 80% of the people that participated in this actually had some sort of security software installed. Unfortunately, I think 16% of them already had malware installed as well. And this was another kind of interesting finding buried in the paper, is that there was a slight, I guess, correlation to the people who were infected with malware having antivirus. That number, that percentage, was higher than the number of people who were infected with malware who didn't have antivirus.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and the reason they think that is because maybe people who have AV feel like they're better protected and are more likely to engage in this behavior that's probably more risky, like downloading some piece of code and executing it. So that was actually a very interesting finding. I don't know if it's a statistically significant percentage difference, but you know, in the analysis they did, they definitely saw something there to make note of it.
That was one of the things that really stuck out at me from this one, was that 17% of the folks who had malware had AV versus 11% had malware and no AV. That was not what I expected, but yeah, but we talk all the time. You know, antivirus is a good thing to have, but it only goes so far, and the vast majority of it, you know, works by doing signature matching, and if they haven't seen the malware yet, then they won't have a signature for it yet. So, you know, while I don't advise people to go without,
You wouldn't go driving in a car just because you knew it had the latest safety features. It's kind of the same. You know, putting yourself at risk is still putting yourself at risk, no matter how safe you.
right, just because you have airbags doesn't mean you should run into that wall.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan.